Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the channel that teaches you how to get your hair back on your head for not a lot of money and no surgeries. Anyways, I'm Curtis, I'm your guide. Welcome, thank you for showing up. If you would consider, hit that thumbs up button for me if you like my content, and also hit that subscribe button. It's super important to me. If you would consider it, I would be grateful. What do we do here? I talk about hair replacements and hair systems. It can be for guys or girls. Doesn't really matter who it's going on. It's basically all the same principles. We have websites available for information and products. We can get products to you. Hairbymhe.com has your supplies and products, and also the ebooks are on there. Use coupon code MHE20 to save 20% off of your hair. MyHairExperience.com has a lot of the YouTube videos and a lot of FAQs on there. Check that out as well. All right, what are you talking about today, Curtis? I am talking about the typical what ifs. What if this happens? What do I do? This is just going to be some of the typical ones that come to mind over my experience that would make sense to ask the question, what if? I've got my little list over here. I've got some props. You know, we're going to be working with some stuff here to try to make this make sense. My first one that I wrote down is because this is, guys, you got to remember, I get a lot of questions daily, and this is going to be a lot of those questions kind of summed up into a couple of the most relevant ones that seem to come up. My bond isn't working. Not my bond, not me, just the bond that whomever has a bond is they're using is not working or working right. And I know this is going to sound like an a-hole thing to say, but the answer to that is there's two or possibly three things that cause this. Either it's the not the right bond for your body chemistry or your body. The product is contaminated, not the product itself, but wherever it's going is contaminated. The scalp, the unit base itself is contaminated, or you're adding possibly a contaminant to it to break the bond down to not function correctly. And you're going to say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll explain it. Contamination, when we're putting a unit on, the scalp, the skin has to be squeaky clean. It can't feel somewhat sticky. It can't feel like there's a residue on there. It can't feel like we just went outside and ran a marathon. It can't feel like that. It can't have sweat on it. It needs to be dry. The next thing could be contamination that's on the base unit itself, on the lace or on the polyurethane. It could be something like a cleaner that we used. Like if you're doing a removal and a reattachment, it could be a cleaner that we used or you used or whatever to get the old glue off, but yet you didn't wash it off, wash the cleaner off. So if you take a unit like this, let's say, and this is a lace-based unit, if you spray up top to try to break that bond down, which is the preferred method to break the bond down so it doesn't stick to the lace when you pull it up so it makes your work less, if some of that cleaner is still in the hair or at the base, it's going to cause contamination, and then the bond is not going to work, period, because that cleaner is going to want to break it down as soon as it touches it, and then you're not going to get anything out of your bond. So just keep that in mind, that the unit and the base has to be clean along with your head. The next thing could be an alternate way of contamination. Something like a leave-in conditioner with a heavy argan or Moroccan oil or something like that in the product. That will cause through my testings with argan oil, it needs to be very, very, very little and not directly on the sprayed like this, okay? You can't do that. It needs to be a couple of pumps in the hand or something and lightly put over the hair, not like into the hair and agitated onto the base. It can cause that glue to break down, and then you're right here with this glue problem of your bond not working. Those are all variables that would do that. And the next and final thing is it's just not the right one for you. Get another one. I always tell people it's 2 to 5 different bonds that you're going to go through until you have that aha moment when you go, that's what Curtis was talking about. That's what he's saying. I found the right one for me now. Don't put lock, stock, and barrel in one bond. Please don't. Experiment down the way and do it safely. Make sure you test it on your hand first. Don't put everything into one bond, please. The next thing is what if I rip the unit? And it could be a polyurethane or it could be a lace-based unit. What if I rip it? Okay, you're gonna see my janky mannequin head here. If I can get my pen. Okay, this is the front kind of corners of where I have right here, okay? These little front tip corners right here, you're gonna see here, okay? If you rip the unit in this area, game over. Unit's done, throw it away, it's not going to work anymore. You might, if you get a small rip in it, 1/2 inch long or something like that, and it's a poly unit, you might be able to put the two together when you lay your bond down. I've done it before. I rip units too, guys. I'm a human being. We're all human beings, and I'm careful, and stuff still happens. It's life. So if you do it in there, you got a problem. If you can put the two together and make it okay, but you need to be prepared to go into your next unit that you should have as a backup right now anyways. Always have a backup, guys. Always have a backup, please. It's very important. It's like only owning one pair of jeans, you know, and that's the only pair of pants you own. It's not suggested. But if you rip, we flip the mannequin head around. If you rip back here somewhere, now you got a little more time on your side, okay? There's actually two things you can do. And we'll talk about a poly and a lace. There's one thing you can do with a poly is take a piece of the tape that you use to stick it to your head if you have tape, if you use tape, a good piece of tape, a thin piece of tape, and not all that big. And basically what you're going to do is put the two things together and you're going to mend the area together with a piece of tape. I'm not talking Scotch tape. I'm talking adhesive tape that you would put it on your scalp with, okay? That's the one way to fix a poly unit, and you really need to have your next one ready to roll because it's not going to probably be pretty when you take it off. The next thing, if you've got a lace, okay, you've got a lace base. This is just one that we had that was cut wrong. If you have a lace, you do have a couple of different options, okay? Let's just say that this is the back of the unit, all right? You can actually take the back of the unit itself, and you can sew this back together. And when I say sew it, I mean not to where you're gonna have this lump. You're not going to have a lump of material there. You're going to try to sew it as flat as you can and then take a pair of, what do you call that? Eyebrow scissors, the little ones, okay? The tiny ones, and then make that area flush, okay? You can do that. You can sew it, but it's going to have to be the finest thread that you can find. Or you can mend it as well with the tape, kind of like we just talked about with the poly unit. You can do it the same way. And it will hold up a little bit longer than a poly will, a thin, super thin skin poly. This method will hold up, and you can probably do it 2 or 3 times. Guys, we're all human beings. It's not necessarily we're being rough on something, but these units are not built to last forever. They will fall apart and disintegrate over time. I mean, you got to think we're being pretty rough on them. I mean, just living life, you know what I mean? So you got to just keep that stuff in mind. The next thing is the color starts to fade in the unit. Not uncommon. It's going to happen more in the summer than it will in the winter because of the sun. You're not outside as much, and it's going to show over time. And also chlorine in your water. Guys, that water softener is a big deal. A chlorine filter on your shower is a big deal. Check it out. It's super cheap. Just get you one. It will save you money in the long run. What you can do is there's a couple of different things. Like my hair is lighter on the top right now because the unit is starting to wear. What I'm going to do is I actually just bought a product called Back to Natural. I've heard rave reviews about it, and we're actually going to do a video on it probably tomorrow or the next day about actually using it. It's called Back to Natural. I'm not endorsed by them. They didn't even give me the product. I had to buy it. So, I mean, it is what it is. But what I'm going to do is I like my top a little lighter on the top. I think I'm actually a 1B on the sides, but I like the top lighter. It just maybe a little more youthful look. But what I'm going to do is actually blend the sides a little bit, okay, just with this product, and we're going to do that on video. So that product's called Back to Natural. I can't endorse it. I don't know anything about it yet. We're going to try it and see what it does. The next one that I do know that works is a product called DP Hue. Again, no relation. Don't know who they are, but I know the product works. But the big thing is, do not let it get on the base. Do not let it get on the base. It will stain the base. All right, our next and final what if that we typically run into, that I get the most questions about, of edges coming up. Okay, you have two ways that you can deal with edges coming up. If you've got a front area where the edge is coming up and you don't have an exposed hairline, maybe dab a little glue on there, sit it down, and who cares? Put your hair down forward and you'll be just fine. If you've got an exposed hairline, like a blowout like I normally do, what you can do is, it's a 5-minute job, guys. 5 minutes. Just get you a little Q-tip, get a little rubbing alcohol on the Q-tip, okay? And then just kind of go around the area that you can and get it cleaned up as best you can to make sure it's somewhat decently clean. Get your glue or bond or whatever you have, put it on your brush or put it on a blank Q-tip, take the cotton off of it, and then put it in that little area right there and just walk around your house for 5 minutes. Do what you were doing anyways, other than combing your hair, and then push it down and you're done for the day. I mean, that's all you have to do. Now, if you've got an edge coming up around the back, if it's no bigger than a 1/4 inch, a little bit, don't worry about it. Just, guys, just don't worry about it, okay? I'm spitting everywhere. What am I doing? Don't worry about it. Don't make a mountain out of an anthill. I think that's wrong. A mountain out of a molehill. That's it. Don't make a mountain out of something that ain't there, if you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So don't make something out of nothing. A lot of this is like I've done the videos in the past, the cover up. You are masking areas. You are covering areas. It's not going to be like it's our, we do the best we can to make it like it's our hair, but you're going to find imperfections, especially under where the hair covers. You can pick it apart all day long and you will run into that. Don't stress yourself out about it. Just it's okay. It's all right. You got a little corner coming up back there and it's like that much. Who cares? It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. That's what I got today, guys. I hope that information helps you, and it's super important. I think it's good info, honestly, and I think a lot of people, I hope it will help, even if you haven't taken this road before. Hit that thumbs up button if you like my content. I'd be grateful. And subscribe to the channel, and save your 20% off at hairbymhe.com. We'll see you soon, guys. Thanks.